Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 3 in the series between BratOK and Dimaga here on Achillean Waste. BratOK spawning as the yellow Terran player on the bottom right hand side of the map. Dimaga spawning as the red Zerg on the top left. We are all tied up at one game apiece in this best of 3 series, and always entertaining to say the least. Game 2, we saw more Ultralists, we saw more Thors, and a much more exciting game overall. Now, it doesn't really feel like Dimaga likes Swarm hosts, nor does BratOK like Widow Mines. Widow Mines, one of those things where it depends on the caliber of your opponent. If your opponent knows how to deal with Widow Mines, then Widow Mines are a rather useless unit, where Zerg players have flying overlords that can take Widow Mine hits and pretty much deactivate everything. One overlord or a group of overlords, as long as they're not too tightly packed together, can shut down those Widow Mines, and then Roaches and Zerglings can follow up and do what they need to do. Alright, I'm going to look more at BratOK's particular build this time around. You can see that he actually, no, he doesn't delay his SCV. He's actually, is he going to go for a refinery now? Yes, okay, so this is a 13 refinery. It was not the same build that he used in the previous 2 games, and I was really hoping to catch sight of how he did this build to perhaps try it and test it out on the ladder as well. Alright, better luck next time. Dimaga now making a move with this Overlord, and this Overlord position should end up parking itself off right about here. He will be able to see how much gas his opponent has, and he'll also be able to see when his opponent tries to take this base, if he does try and establish that as his third base. Meanwhile, there is another option for a third base. It is obviously down over here. It can be guarded by destructible rocks, but that is also fairly dangerous as well, as what Roaches and a whole bunch of units can just try and take down those rocks pretty quickly. Now, Overlord looking to push in here. We can see that a hatchery is coming down. We are going into a spawning pool and extractor. Dimaga opting for hatchery first. It is going to be an economic game, as we are now moving out just a bit longer. Factory already coming in. Reaper, is the Reaper on the field? Actually, no Reaper. Alright, so BratOK really liking those Wings of Liberty builds and not going for an early Reaper this time. This does come as a bit of a surprise to me, since he has... Nope, the Reaper's... Nope, that was an SCV. As the Reaper is a very, very good scouting unit, and also doesn't hurt you in long run in terms of economic losses here. Every minute that this SCV is away is essentially about 40 minerals lost. So that is one of the reasons why SCVs want to head back home. And what is this? It looks like those are Raptorlings. Those are in fact not Raptorlings. Those are just Zerglings with a little bit of a spine back on them. Slight animation differences. You can see that apparently Dimaga has gotten to level 30 on his units already, as one Zergling already down. And is this Zergling going to get taken down? Yes, he will, but not before he spots the Hellions now being trained. Alright, Spine Crawler being added here. Dimaga making sure, you know what, I want to make sure that no Hellions are able to do a run by without at least taking some damage, as the Hellions are now added. Here we go. Hellions on the move. And the Hellions will be able to get into the main base pretty easily, unless a Queen does try and decide to block it. Queen is in position here. The Queen is going to be throwing those darts pretty quickly, as more drones are now being transferred over. Now, economically, BratOK does need to establish up this command center here. Both sides are looking to just scout out and figure out what their opponent is doing. Already, though, we see an armory being placed down, and an armory may indicate perhaps a quick tech into Hellbats. You can see that the medevac, or sorry, the starport is already in play, and now in comes the Hellions. The Hellions doing a terrible, terrible amount of damage, and this was pretty much going unanswered here, as all those drones are going to be falling. You can see natural regeneration is helping a bit, but this is just an old school, let me get up 4 Hellions and run them into your base, and what are you going to do about it? And BratOK gets off a crazy number of worker kills. 10 worker kills at the cost of 4 Hellions. A beautiful trade there. But does BratOK have enough of an economy to get back in? We now see what Hellbats being added here. Zergling's going to be added. And are we going to be going into a medevac play? Hellbats are in position. The medevac is already in position here. Perhaps double medevacs for those Hellbats. Hellbats are very, very dangerous units, especially in their Hellbat. Or sorry, in this mode. Why doesn't a Viking have like a different name? Like, there we go. Medevac now on the move. These Hellbats will be, in fact, be able to two-shot drones and other drones and Zerglings. They are going to be able to fight well against roaches, since they are going to have the benefit of that additional heal. And where is this Hellbat, or where is that medevac going next? Just outside the sight range, and this could potentially be a huge, huge difference. All right, Hellbat here. Is he going to go for that drone? Looks like yes, he will. 2 drones easily taken out, and now making their way in. The Queen is in position, gets off some damage onto that medevac, and the medevac decides to turn tail and run. All right, these Hellbats, very, very strong. 30 damage against light units. Those Zerglings going to try to run in. Oh, you can see how many of them got torched already. The Zerglings now trying to take down some SCVs. There's one, but the Hellbats are going to be there in time. Oh, yes, another Zergling gets taken down there, as we are now going into Widow Mines as well. Still, medevac play, perhaps going to try and execute another drop. Another drone gets taken out, and BratOK still taking a look and seeing if there is any roaches down here. Still spots some roaches and goes, you know what, it's better if I don't engage just quite yet. Double Widow Mines here on the front door. You got to be careful though. Those Widow Mines do deal a lot of damage to a lot of splash damage. 40 splash damage. 2 Widow Mines can just instantaneously take out all of your SCVs that are trying to repair, as we now have more and more Hellbats being built. All right, the servo reactors not being added. Let's see, are we going to even research the ability for Widow Mines to burrow faster? I don't know. I feel like that's one of the easiest. Oh, what is this? Double medevac drop with 4 Hellbats. And are these medevacs going to perhaps try to drop up straight up on top of the drones? So much damage dealt there, as the Zerglings now getting torched. All right, medevacs, are they going to be able to heal? Yes, they're going to be able to heal their units and get out of there. How many workers were killed? 14 workers killed. Not that great of a choice there. But yeah, as I was mentioning, I think Widow Mines, I think the upgrade should be that they attack a little bit faster. Maybe a 30 or 25 second cooldown as opposed to a 40-second cooldown, as being able to burrow and unburrow much more quickly doesn't I haven't seen any professional player actually utilize and use that upgrade. All right, medevac now making its way off to the north. Oh, it could in fact do a bit of damage here. Queen is in position, but the roaches have hatched, and there we go. What is going to be happening here? The medevac, needs to get the heck out of there. Down to 30 hit points, and he does escape. So far, we do see destructible rocks. The rock tower now falling, and the siege tanks most likely will siege here in order to protect that front door. Meanwhile, medevac off here, taking a bit more damage than it would like, needs to come back and regroup. BratOK sitting on 111. Meanwhile, Dimaga sitting at 119. Widow Mine, not going to make it through. Quickly taken down, even though, the rest of its corpse actually see some buildings? Not 100% sure there. And BratOK now, he actually feigned. Is he actually going to be able to trick? No, he's not going to be able to trick Dimaga. Dimaga knows about the expansion here at the 5 o'clock location. Meanwhile, another drop, and these Hellbats drops have just been rather difficult for Dimaga to deal with. All right, roaches now coming in. A changeling now being added. Overseer is going to spot this, and what is going to be happening next? Is it going to get hit by a Widow Mine? Yes, it does. There is one attack. And now in comes the next attack, as the Zerglings are trying to come in and gain sight. Another Widow Mine hits, and that is just an absolute pummeling on the front door. I'm not sure what Dimaga was expecting, but Dimaga was not expecting 6 siege tanks on the front door with Widow Mines as reinforcements. So A little bit of a test on the front door turns out to be much more than he imagined, as he takes a bit too much damage. 17 drones now coming in from Dimaga. Dimaga trying to catch up in the economic game. 14 workers have been killed. A new base back over here. BratOK may, in fact, try to upgrade that to a planetary fortress, but that roach is going to have some nice time trying to melt the building with acid first, forcing it to just hover in the air. All right, a beautiful scanner sweep on all of those units. Not quite sure why, as BratOK already had sight there. And Dimaga's wondering, like, why did you scan there? How did you know? Unknown to him, BratOK has a Viking in that position, so he was just trying to get a good idea of what is happening as siege tanks are now making their way forward. All right, there you go, Viking flying around, gaining sight on patrol. Roaches in a bit of trouble, will be forced to pull back. Overlords now perhaps trying to offer a bit of insight as well, as BratOK now just sitting on a beautiful 163 to 132 supply advantage. And now we see Dimaga going into swarm hosts. Now, the swarm hosts are not going to be that effective at this point. BratOK has simply too much of an army to really deal with this. The Hellbats will fall eventually to those swarm hosts, but those siege tanks with that very, very far range, and as long as BratOK has enough command centers or orbital commands for scanner sweeps, he will be fine not having to worry about detection. Here we have roaches now on the move here once more. Where are all of these units going to be traveling to next? You can see a whole bunch of Hellbats now making their way over. Hellbats and siege tanks, no Thors. And this is where it kind of confuses me that Mutalisk would have actually been the much better choice. Mutalisk would be able to deal so much damage and focus down all of the siege tanks. That chain splash damage, those siege tanks are rather slow. So are those Medivacs so are those Hellbats as well. As we are now seeing a siege up from the high ground onto the low ground. Oh, one swarm host gets destroyed before it even gets set up. And wow, this positioning is going to be simply too much. This hatchery is going to get destroyed, and you can see all of the Hellbats are going to get dropped down. Yes, Hellbats will be dropped down here in just a moment inside the main. And how much damage is going to be had? Oh, it's trying to take down the spine crawler, but there's the GG. There's the good luck as BratOK comes back and takes the series 2-1 after losing game 1. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Really liked this play from BratOK, utilizing siege tanks and Hellbats very effectively. A new style of mech. Did use some Widow Mines, and I think Dimaga just threw everything to the wind when he tried to engage up a ramp when there was so many siege tanks there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.